Thank you, Frank, for the introduction, and thank you to Moms Clean Air Force, Climate Power, Blue Green Alliance, and Michigan Clean Cities for hosting this celebration. Again, I'm Lynn Bosma, the Health Equity and Outreach Program Manager with the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, also known as AFA. Founded in 1953, AFA is the oldest and largest patient advocacy organization for those with asthma, allergy, and related diseases. AFA is dedicated to saving lives and reducing the burden of disease for people with asthma and allergies through support, advocacy, education, and research. As we're here today to celebrate the EPA's Clean School Bus Rebate Awards here in Michigan, I want to highlight the impact that these awards will have on children with asthma. Sadly, asthma is a real challenge here in Michigan. Michigan is the 5th highest asthma rate in the entire United States, well above the national average. Detroit was also recently named the #1 most challenging asthma capital in the U.S. in AFA's 2022 Asthma Capitals Report. This report ranks how challenging it is to live with asthma in the 100 largest cities in the U.S. based on 3 things: asthma prevalence, asthma deaths, and asthma-related emergency department visits. Asthma is the most common chronic condition in children and one of the leading causes of hospitalizations and school absenteeism. Children with severe asthma are also more likely to suffer academically. It's a chronic disease that causes your airways to become inflamed, making it hard to breathe. There's no cure for asthma, and the best way to manage is to avoid triggers, take medications to prevent symptoms, and prepare to treat asthma episodes if they occur. Poor air quality and exposure to air pollution is a very significant risk factor, both for developing asthma and for those who already have an asthma diagnosis. Children are especially vulnerable to the dangerous impacts of air pollution like diesel exhaust because their respiratory systems are still developing. It's also important to note that neither asthma nor air pollution impacts everyone equally. According to AFA's 2020 Asthma Disparities Report in America, the burden of asthma in the U.S. falls disproportionately on Black, Hispanic, and American Indian and Alaska Native people. These groups have disproportionately high rates of poor asthma outcomes, including hospitalizations and deaths. For example, Black individuals are 5 times more likely to be hospitalized for asthma in the emergency room, 3 times more likely to die from asthma than their white individuals. Furthermore, exposure to air pollution is disproportionately experienced by Black and Hispanic populations, even though emissions are disproportionately caused by white populations. Much of these emissions come from dirty vehicles. In fact, in the U.S., the transportation sector is the leading contributor to air pollution and almost the largest source of climate pollution. Climate change is a public health emergency, and communities across the nation are already experiencing the health impacts of climate change, including longer and more intense allergy seasons, increased asthma triggers like air pollution. This is why cleaning up the transportation sector is imperative for our most vulnerable populations for today and in the future. Today, our children are exposed to dirty diesel-powered school buses daily on their way to and from school, and unfairly suffering the health and academic consequences. But thanks to federal investments that we're celebrating today by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act, we can finally see a cleaner and healthier future for our kids. Investments in clean vehicles and buses not only have the potential to transform the transportation sector, as my colleagues pointed out, clean the air, and reduce asthma exacerbations in children, but it's also a strong step towards achieving environmental justice. AFA looks forward to celebrating and supporting the transition to zero-emission school buses across Michigan and the United States, and will continue to advocate for health in all policies. Thank you.